Stocks are higher at the closing bell. Also in New York, Fed Chair Jerome Powell spoke about the need to remain independent.
That gives us the ability to make these decisions for the benefit of all Americans at all times, not for any particular political party or political outcome. We're supposed to achieve maximum employment and price stability for the benefit of all Americans and keep out of politics completely.
Speaking at the New York Times Deal Book Summit, Powell addressed a question about President-elect Donald Trump's numerous public criticisms of the Fed and Powell himself. Trump has insisted that as president, he should have a say in the Fed's interest rate policies. President-elect Trump's pick for Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, has been talking to senators. Sources tell the AP questions about Hegseth's behavior have Trump considering alternatives, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Hegseth told Megyn Kelly on Sirius XM Donald Trump has his back.
I want readiness, accountability, standards, warfighting. Pete, that's you, that's me, clean house of the woke crap.
Asked by Kelly if he sexually assaulted a woman, Hegseth said absolutely not. A suspect is still at large in New York. The CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, was shot and killed this morning outside a hotel in Manhattan. Joe Kenny is chief of detectives.
The motive for this murder currently is unknown, but based on the evidence we have so far, it does appear that the victim was specifically targeted. But at this point, we do not know why.
Kenny says the suspect was last seen in Central Park. Power is slowly being restored to parts of Cuba. One of the island's major power plants failed, leaving millions without electricity. The team looking for a missing Pennsylvania woman believed to have fallen into a sinkhole determined an abandoned coal mine is too unstable for people to safely search underground. They still expressed hope Elizabeth Pollard will be found alive. This is AP News. South Korea's opposition wants to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol after his brief declaration of martial law.
That drew heavily armed troops to encircle Parliament in Seoul before lawmakers climbed walls to re-enter the building and unanimously voted to lift his order. Impeaching Yoon would require the support of 2/3 of Parliament, and at least 6 justices of the 9-member Constitutional Court would have to support it to remove him from office. The motion, submitted jointly by the main opposition Democratic Party and 5 smaller opposition parties, could be put to the vote as early as Friday. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
France's far-right and left-wing lawmakers joined together in a historic no-confidence vote prompted by budget disputes that forced Prime Minister Michel Barnier and his cabinet members to resign, a first since 1962. President Emmanuel Macron will need to appoint a new prime minister. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawamian greetings to Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news from a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun on Good Morning Marianas.
And it's 7:23 a.m. and it is a beautiful day outside. Look at that. That is perfect. Can you ask for a better day than that? There's just a little bit of moisture on the road that's left over from the overnight. But it's nice. There's no dust. It is just sun and smiles in the CNMI. It is great. It is 82 degrees out here in Saipan. Humidity's at 77%. Up there at the Saipan International Airport, where all kinds of interesting things were happening yesterday. Isolated showers, mostly sunny skies, high near 85 today. Wind's going to be out of the east, 11 to 15 miles per hour, and it's going to be just very nice. Tomorrow we're looking at some scattered showers and thunderstorms today. Mostly cloudy skies, and man, it's not going to be too bad at all. Again, tonight's going to be pretty nice, but don't worry, there's no baseball anyway, so there's not a whole lot we got going on. Man, crazy stuff happening in the world today. In the mainland, in around the world, like we said about what was going on in Korea, in France, they just they just had a no confidence vote. I'm serious. They had a no confidence vote to oust their prime minister. Yeah, it's the first. They've done it before, but it's the first time they've been successful since 1962. Man. And what's going on with my shirt? I know. I am now accepting public ridicule for these shirts. Oh my gosh. Hey, great to see you, Freddie. Really good to see you. Luisa, wonderful to see you. Tobat Castro, the man, the myth, the legend. The tip man from Dan, Mr. Shady Solutions. He's with us today. This is awesome. It's going to be a great morning already, as I see you guys from all over the place. We're going to do a whole bunch of different things today. We're going to talk about some of the international stuff. We're going to talk about some of our local stuff. We'll get you to our local headlines. But we just got you the Associated Press update. That was the 7 o'clock update. We'll keep you up at the top of the hour. We'll keep getting you all the latest sets coming in. Last night, though, man, we had a pretty exciting thing where we were able to name our first AK player of the game. That's right. AK Toyota is the sponsor for the broadcast for the Saipan Baseball League's Master League edition. And last night, we were able to name our first player of the game. And with the help of our chief statistician, who knows more about baseball than Ray Palacios? You could tell me that there is one, but he knows what's going on in the game. He can read that game and tell you what is up. Hey, good morning, Eric. Great to see you. JJ, you too. Hey, Bo, great to see you out there, too. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Holy cow. Patrick, great to see you, too. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so last night, again, we named our very first Atkins Kroll Toyota player of the game, and it was Jerome De Los Santos. Jerome went 4 for 4 in their 18-8 beatdown of the Marlins. Yeah, the Brewers are back in the Masters League. And Jerome, it's funny because we were talking to the boys after the game, making sure that we could hydrate in the parking lot a little bit after and had some Cotton Pica. Oh, my God. I'm telling you, hanging out. Oh, and the cocoa. The baseball is great. Hanging out in the parking lot afterwards, it might be better. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. But all I know is that it's also great. And the boys give him a hard time. It's like, hey, you're your player of the game. You had 3 errors. All right, to be fair, yes, he might have had 3 fielding errors, but the field was a little bouncy last night. I don't know what it was. but there were so many fielding errors. It had to have been a combination of everything that was going on weather-wise the past couple of days, because that field and the ball on that field did not react the way it was doing it on Monday night when we played. And so it was a mess. But anyway, again, 4 for 4, and he had 4 scores. That is like a 4x4. That sounds to me like it's going to be Tacoma territory or Tundra territory. So he is our winner. He's got to head down to AK and pick up his prize pack today, and I think that's pretty cool. That's going to be the first one that we've got, and I know he's going to be excited about that. He was talking about it last night about how excited he was about getting down there and doing that, and we're happy for him too. We're definitely looking forward to seeing the photos for when he picks up, because I'm not exactly sure what he's going to get. I know they have some cool gear down there, and hopefully, we will show it off, because we're going to have to feature him, because it's pretty awesome. Man, I've got one of those, not Airwick, but it's like, maybe it's an Airwick thing. Do you guys have any of those air fresheners where you put there's batteries in them, then they got that little vial of stuff? Man, that stuff is kicking thick. It's like I'm in church, only it's an incense you can taste. It's a little bit too much. When we take a break, I am going to go turn that sucker off. Thank God I got this coffee, but I'm telling you, I am breathing in toxic fumes. It's like I'm vaping. I'm vaping an air freshener. That's great. You can't spell potpourri without pot, I guess. That's pretty much what I'm inhaling over here. Well, now you know. You can't smell. It's a good thing we don't have smell-o-vision. I'd love to let you try it yourself. If you want to sample it, come on over. Get it while it's hot, because as soon as I take a commercial, that stuff is going away. At the very least, it's going in the back room. Oh my gosh, it's thick. I'm telling you, I can taste this in the back of my throat. It's awful. Ugh. All right, let's try and get past this. Yeah, it is. This is legit. All right. Hey, let's talk about some of the things happening here locally. And there's some good news over there at the CPA. The Commonwealth Ports Authority had a special board meeting yesterday, and we were there. We broadcast it live for you. It's not the same format that we normally did it, but we still want to make sure that we got it for you yesterday. And then I had to go right from there to another board meeting and then to the baseball game. But here's the deal. Last month, they raised the rates, and now they're reducing them again. They spoke with the board, with all the airlines, and the airlines had some thoughts. They said, hey, you can't be raising the rates on us because we might pull out. And they were talking offline, not off the record, but offline, to say that, hey, here, let me pull this out here too. I want to save this and put this out. This is interesting enough. But they were saying like, hey, we were talking to the airlines, and we know the guy from Jeju, and he says that he's going to pull out. He's not just saying it. Like, he's out. So we don't want to lose Jeju. Go figure. And we want to make sure that we're able to continue to provide the services and have these folks come in here. And they are. Okay, let's see. No, I don't want to replace that. Cancel. I'm trying to get you guys something I think is pretty interesting. That just went out on. All right, so let me. Well, all right, I'll get that to you later. But either way, so they definitely didn't want to lose the folks that they had at the airport already, but they also are losing money at the airport already. They're playing this game called figure out how we can stay in business and stay compliant. I mean, that's it. And they are all trying to work and figure out how to make that happen. Right now, though, it's tough. And the question is, where are we going to be going forward? You know, and they were talking to us afterwards about how different places don't even have landing fees. They're like, you know, in Thailand, they don't even have landing fees. And we have landing fees. But they're like, they don't even have landing fees. You know why? Because they got this great mall right there, and people are able to shop right away, so they're making money. I'm like, yeah, and they got more people. But the airport is just one little piece of a big thing of us having to rethink a whole lot of things. Like, why do we do what we do? Why are our fees what our fees are? This is not just CPA. Why do we do what we do? Like, really take a look at what we're doing and why we're doing it. And do we need to do it the way we're doing it? Are we best served by continuing to do it the same way? Has it been the thing that's not broke, don't fix it? Or it's broke, let's just redo it. I think that we're there on a lot of different things. And with our airport, that's one of them. I mean, our expenses are crazy high for how many flights that we have every single day. The amount of money that we spend on that airport. We have a great airport. It's really big. And we're ready for people when they're ready to come in here. But until we get folks in here, we really need to rethink how we do it. I really think you got to close down one of those wings to save your expenses. And like right now, they've got, I saw the United flight over there by Gate 1. Like, why are you even bothering over there? Just keep everybody in the same spot. It's going to save you a bunch of money. You know, you got to do it. All right. Well, anyway, that's it. All the answers to fix the world for free. That's what we deliver. All right, man. I got to tell you, this story got me fired up as a parent. And boy, we're going to get into that. But before we do, I want to get you guys to traffic. I'm telling you, this story, if you're a parent and you don't get fired up by it, man, I don't know what's going to get you fired up. So let's go ahead and take our first look at traffic here this morning because, oh, there we go. Oh, listen to this little hustle and bustle music. I know, I was looking for something that I thought would be a great little traffic music. So here we go. The hustle and bustle of Saipan in the morning. Here's the intersection over there by Shell Dandan, and things are moving just along, but it is a little bit of slow go. You can see all the way by the traffic's already backed up all the way to that creep road behind Joten Dandan, and it's a little bit slow in each direction, but not too bad yet. That's gonna change. Over there in San Vicente, you can see all the folks who are cruising in from Dandan. They're stuck at the light over there, and that's probably how that's going to be for a little bit. But let's go over to where it's a little more problematic, down in Chalumpiao, and it's, not that terrible so far. It's 7:34. Maybe that's why. Maybe another 15 minutes, things won't look that great. Or maybe everybody started getting in flying cars, and they're not worried about traffic anymore. But when you get down to the end of Route 32 by Mobile and Subway down there in Chalumpiao, you can see it's a little bit of a backup, and mostly because folks are stuck there and there's traffic in each direction and there's going to be schools going on. If you're trying to go through Beach Road, though, all the way to Mount Carmel, it's going to be a slow go in both directions by the post office as I just inhale another dose of that air freshener that is tasting delicious. Over there at IT&E by Middle Road and the CMG, you can see it's slowing up a little bit as traffic's starting to pile up, but not too bad. The real trouble spot is usually over there by the old AK intersection, but right now, magically, it is looking mighty fine. This is great. Oh, geez. But over there in front of the old IT&E is where it's starting to slow up over there as folks are probably trying to get in the area of Mickey D's. It is definitely slow there, and I wonder if something happened. Probably that is from a school bus stop right over there. I used to get stuck there all the time by the school bus. All right, over there by the base of Navy Hill and the tennis courts, not looking too bad, although if you're coming from Garapan trying to get up, or if you're coming up Micro Beach Road trying to get to Middle Road, it's backed up a little bit all the way past the Bridge Capitol. Folks dropping their kids off to daycare over there. Let's scroll north and get all the way over to the base of Issa Drive. Folks from San Roque and Tanapa getting caught up a little bit at the base of Capitol Hill. Not too bad. It's too early to get to Ina's Kitchen. Well, maybe not if you want a really good seat, but they're not going to be opening those doors for another few hours. Man, we had some really tasty fried pork over there. And that is what doctors say is not the best for you, but who needs doctors? That stuff was great. It was so good. And you can see this is the Cagman Mobile intersection right now, and it's a little bit slow. It's a little bit slow right now, but not too bad. So, folks, that is your first look at traffic this morning here on the NMI News Services. Good morning, Marianas. Hooray! All right, we're going to take a real quick break to acknowledge some of our sponsors and give them all the love that they need because they're giving us love by supporting our program. Folks, you can drive all around the island, but you are not going to find a place that is open 24 hours. That's the newest facility that's ready for you to work on yourself. Unless you get down to CK and you go to Laddiebill 24-Hour Fitness. Laddiebill 24-Hour Fitness has everything you need to start that new you. And we're getting closer to that new year. Do you have your New Year's resolution yet? Maybe it's to get fit. Well, nobody's going to be able to do it better for you than Laddiebill. Go check them out. Look for the tallest building in Chalkanoa. That's the Aquarius Beach Tower. At the base of it, you're going to find that gray building with the green highlights. And once you get inside, whoa, a brand new world is waiting for you. Go down there, check them out, tell them we sent you, and I think you'll be pretty happy that you did.
Persistence of build, be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence of build, be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
All right, welcome back, Marianas. We are back and ready for more. It's 7:40 a.m., and we got you some news, we got you some sports, we got you some weather, and now we're going to get back to some more of these news stories. Breaking news, I got rid of that air freshener. Put it in the back of the studio because that stuff was crazy. Hey, good morning, Ed Probst, representative, floor leader from the House of Representatives. The biggest vote getter in Precinct 1. We're going to miss you, man. I know you're not going anywhere. I'm so excited to find out what you got going on next. I have no idea what it is, but I am there. I'm buying what you're selling. Lorraine, good morning. Great to see you this morning. Connie, great to see you this morning, too. Yeah, JJ, I see it, man. I see it. I had to get rid of that air freshener. That thing was awful. It was absolutely awful. I can still taste it. That's how bad it was. I am absolutely still have that bad taste in my mouth from that thing. Ugh, God. The key is, I think, don't put it between the wall-mounted air conditioner and you. If you stay away from that, you might not have to ingest it. Oh my gosh, I feel like it's like not even secondhand smoke. It was awful. All right, now here's the story that got me a little fired up. And I was not a big fan of when I heard about this. There's some kids apparently were giving some other kids a hard time, right? And there's this parent who's just waiting for his kids to come home, and he's like, "Hey, kids aren't home yet. What's going on?" So he starts going, and he follows them on their way that they would make on their way home from school, and he finds his kids hanging out with, and they were kind of surrounded. His kids, right? They're like 15 and 16-year-old. They're on their way back home from MHS. And they were late, and they tried calling the kids. They didn't answer. So the guy says, I'm going to go drive over the way they normally walk home. And he finds them over by Mount Carmel Social Hall. And they were being surrounded by 3 other kids. 24-year-old Joe Nash Enriquez, 20-year-old Ricky Santos, and some 16-year-old kid. So you got these 3 kids who were drinking, who ended up starting trouble with this guy's children who were on their way home from school. And by the way, Joe Nash Enriquez, Ricky Santos, Joe Nash Enriquez, who's 24, Ricky Santos is 20, and that 16-year-old kid who will go unnamed because it's a juvenile court case. They were all arrested. And so anyway, the father goes over there when he sees his kids being kind of surrounded by these 3 kids. Said, hey, what's going on? And those 3 bad guys said, oh yeah? What are you going to do about it, old man? And then that 16-year-old kid has some brass knuckles on his hands, cold cocks him in the face. Oh boy. And then they took off running because they're little punks. That's it. Good news is police got them because DPS is awesome. They went in and got those guys. And now they're in jail. I'll tell you what, they got to pay. And it's not like they had a beef before. These kids who are going to school at MHS, they don't know them. They don't know those other 3. Just 3 drunks at Mount Carmel. They're not students or teachers. They just happen to be over there. And why is a 24-year-old out there drinking with a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old? It's just a pack of losers. I mean, that's it. I'm sorry. There's still time for these kids to turn around, I'm sure. You got a 24-year-old dude drinking beer with a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old? Hey, kids, be like me when you grow up. I'll give you a free ticket, a one-way ticket to Losertown. Here's your 12-ounce can. That is not cool. And you're going to start trouble with 2 kids who are on their way home from school? Kids who are trying to make something of themselves? No. Man, I can't believe it. Well, the good news is, again, DPS got these guys and put them where they need to go. They need to be in there for a while. I don't know all the charges that are going to go, but I'll tell you what, that 24-year-old probably at least should get something for providing alcohol to minors. 16-year-old, that's a full, legit adult assault charge. Assault and battery. Got to be some kind of harassment in there. So what would that be? So some kind of, if they were surrounding those kids, I mean, that's really what, false imprisonment? No, that's not the call. It's not kidnapping, but you're keeping someone against their will. Pretty close, right? I'm looking forward to seeing more from this case, to see what the Attorney General's office, what charges they end up pressing against them. All I know is that the victim in this case, who's being a dad, looking out for his family, he said he's pressing charges. 2 words. Hell yeah. That's right. Way to go, Dad. You're doing the right thing. Way to go out there and do the right thing. By the way, and not being one of those parents who doesn't care. Just hanging out at home. Maybe they're playing around or something. No, he went out there to go find them. Being a good dad. Good job, Brian Huggan. Hey, good morning, Cindy. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you, too. All right. Hey, by the way, folks, the phone lines are open. It's 7:47 a.m. right now here in Saipan. That's tomorrow Standard Time. Our phone lines are 670-789-2323, 670-789-2323. All right. Tobot says, hey, want to wish my daughter a very good luck on her ASVAB test today at Saipan Southern High. Reach for the stars, my baby. Man, that's great. Good luck. Good luck. The ASVAB. Oh, my God. I have some memories of taking that ASVAB. I took it in high school to get out of a couple of classes. It's true. I did. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. That was a junior year, I think, is when I took it. And again, wasn't sure. And then I started walking down that process of finding out what I was going to end up doing with my life over there with the military. And then I eventually was in the DEPS, which is the delayed entry program. Oh, we got a phone call. Oh, it went away. What happened? Please call back. We just had a call coming in from Spokane. If you were calling, I don't know why it hung up, but if you could call us back, that would be great. Man, yeah, please give us a ring. Call us back if you just called. No idea why it hung up that fast. But I'll tell you what, that's the second time that happened. Might have to get a different phone for this one. But yeah, please give us a ring. 670-789-2323. 670-789-2323. We're still here for you, I promise. We're waiting for your call. Call us back, please. And we'll get there. I'm not sure why that thing hung up before I could get to it, but give us a ring. Again, 670-789-2323. All right. Yeah, so taking that ASVAB, I remember it. And yeah, good luck to your daughter for sure. And that Connie's even jumping in there saying that too. Hey, good morning, Vincent Raymond. Great to see you too. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Louisa, me too. I took the ASVAB to get out of class. I totally did. And then anyway, went through that whole process, spoke with the recruiter at the school when they came in, then had the recruiter come to the house. My parents did not love that necessarily. Corporal Falcon was his name. No kidding, Falcon. I can't remember his first name, but it was Falcon. And then, and corporal. Not a lot of corporals in the Army. At least there weren't then. I don't know how they're doing with corporals now. That's the lowest non-commissioned officer that you can get. It used to be, well, I think they were trying to push it up to E5 and get rid of corporals and just deal with the spec force. Anyway, then I enlisted, delayed entry program, where I had to report a date in the future, and then went to MEPS, which is the full-on get all your shots and get on out of there. And then was a month, almost to the day, almost exactly to the day. A month after I graduated high school, I was on my way on a plane on Continental from Buffalo to Georgia. I went to Columbus, right? I think that's the airport, Columbus, Georgia. And then went to Fort Benning. Now it's like Fort Howe or something like that. I don't know what they renamed it. They've got that whole weird stuff going on in the States. I can't remember what they call it now. Anyway, it says, recruiters were calling my grandma's house. She looked at me like, you're joining the military? And I was like, what you talking about, Willis? I love that. That's great. Yeah, my parents had to sign for me. They had to sign for my enlistment. I was only 17 when I went through basic. In fact, I went through basic and AIT. I didn't turn 18 until that little 2-week window between when I graduated basic and AIT and when I reported for my first duty station. Tobot said he passed his back in 99 with a 73 and then punked out at the last minute. I was young and decisive. Yes, well, you definitely were decisive. You decided quick. You're like, yeah, I'm out. I don't want to do it. Hey, I'll tell you, I was all nervous too because as a kid, that's a big decision. That's a big decision. You are making a commitment, and that was a real legit commitment. Like, I had not made a commitment like that before. And, you know, you're doing it. In fact, my parents had to sign it. They had to co-sign on my commitment. That's how it was. And, but it was the first one that I saw through, and it was good, and I'm glad I did it. But holy cow, that's a big commitment. Unless your whole life leading up to that moment, that is what you were hoping for, that's a big thing to commit to. And so it's great when folks do it. But I definitely, hey, I was nervous about it too, but I didn't want to not do it. And then when you go there, oh my God, you don't want to be the guy who goes home and says, couldn't make it. Oh, that was the driving force behind all that. I did not want to be the guy who came back home and said, couldn't make it. And add every other excuse after that. Oh, it's so hard. Oh, it hurt this. Oh, I realized it wasn't for, nope. You have to explain all that stuff. You're just a failure. That was it. That was, that's not me labeling anybody else. That was me. That was my internal monologue. What kept me going. When it sucked, when it felt like the rucksack was too hard to carry, or when my feet just felt like hamburger stepping on them, those crappy Army issue boots. And by the way, they're not totally crappy, but they're pretty crappy. What they get now is a lot better. Those are the desert boots that we got when we deployed to Sandbox. And when we got those, we're like, oh my God, these are like sneakers. These are so nice. Like, they're so soft. But they call them the speed laces that you get when you first join the Army. They're designed to last, but like, they're not designed necessarily for comfort. That tread underneath the boot, oh God, man, it's a pounder. And then you can get them redone, but there's all these different things you could do to buy better equipment than what you're really issued. So that's why we went out and got jungle boots. And you don't want to wear jungle boots in the winter, and because there's all that canvas on the side, and you're dealing in the snow. That moisture gets right in there, freeze your feet. Get them wet and cold. Forget it. You're done. You're sunk. So you got to wear those speed laces. And then if you're going to wear those speed laces, you got to go out and get a better traction on the bottom, like the jungle boot pattern, because you get better traction. Anyway, there's all those different things you could do to make your life better. Better socks than what they issue you. Better, fancier name tags than what they give you. Oh yeah, you see all those embroidered name tags? That's not what they give you. They just give you like a pressed on stamped piece of nylon. And it looks like, budget, like factory original. But what you'd end up doing is going off base and get those abbreviated ones. And I would press my uniforms for sure. But if I wanted the real great, legit, awesome, I'd take them to the dry cleaners. And the dry cleaners off base, right outside base, those are the ones that give you all the rank that you can get sewn on, the real nice ones, and the embroidered name tags and everything. And they know all the dimensions. They know how to make it right. Yeah, there's so many different things. Luisa is saying, being a first sergeant in JROTC was more fun for me than being an officer. Made my company play Duck, Duck, Goose after PT. Oh, that's awesome. By the way, I saw a video recently about Duck, Duck, Goose, about strategies. These are adults. There's strategies for Duck, Duck, Goose. I mean, I just thought of it as a fun kids game. They have legit stuff that they were talking about. Hey, want to talk about this because we got this from Public Works. They want to know, do you have a street light out in your area? Everybody should just say yes, because there are. But the thing is, it's like DP or like CUC with the water mains and the water lines. CUC doesn't magically have a team of Dionne Warwicks out there, psychics, with the psychic hotline to let you know that the water is leaking in your area. So if the water is leaking in your area, you got to call CUC, let them know about it so they can go out there and do something about it. Well, DPW is asking for the same thing, but for streetlights. I would think driving around, you'd be able to do that on your own. But hey, DPW's got enough work looking at the Garapan project, or not the Garapan, the Beach Road project that's going to keep everybody employed till 2028, apparently. So they're asking for your help, though. If you've got a street light out in your area, they want to get it identified and they want to replace it. So they're saying this is how you report it. First, you locate it, and you got to get the street light number. And you might not normally see them on the power poles, but there are numbers out there where you're able to do it. Oh, Gus, less than 1Y. Great to see you too. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you. As always, great to see you. Again, DPW, so they're saying, how do you report your street light that's out? You go to that power pole and you'll see a label on it. They'll have a number, so get that number. And then get the exact location where it is. Like, what street is it on? And name, like, the nearest intersection. And then you contact them. They've got a right-of-way office, and that number is 234-9838. And you can ask for Noel or Tona, and they'll help. Now, there's like, ooh, why should we report it? Well, because if streetlights out, it's not as safe in your area, not for walking around, not for driving around. It's going to help improve the visibility for everybody. It's a crime deterrent, and no matter what, CUC's charging Public Works whether that light works or not. Okay? So if the light's off in your area, it's not because DPW didn't pay its bill. So they're getting charged either way. They're not disconnecting by pole. So go out there and let them know this is a public service that you pay your taxes for. You want that light in your neighborhood on, well, call Public Works and say, hey, my light's not on. And they'll take it. Now, if you want some more information about anything going on over at DPW, you can give them a call at 235-9570, and that's it. All right, Louisa, going back to it. What do you guys say? Oh, talking about games. Tobot was saying, we were talking about Duck, Duck, Goose real quick. That was funny. Tobot was saying that his favorite game was Red Rover. He gets to clothesline the person running in, and he's such an evil person. That's hilarious. Louisa is saying dodgeball was her favorite. You don't catch the ball, you get hit in the face. Suck it up, Buttercup. She's evil too. Oh my God, my friends are evil. What is going on? Oh my God. Louis saying that she's got a pole in her batting cage. Can DPW provide me a light? Oh my God. You have a batting cage? That's the big story on that one. Absolutely. That's awesome. All right, folks, we're just about at 8 o'clock. We're just seconds away, and we're going to get the update from the Associated Press. This is going to be the 8 o'clock update. They provide updates at the top of every hour, and we bring them to you. Again, just a reminder that our phone lines are open for you as well, 670-789-2323. We saw that call coming in from Spokane, and I tried to answer. I was about to answer it, and then it just stopped ringing. So maybe you got like Tobot when he was thinking about joining and then got indecisive at the end. But we're here for you. This show's all about you and what you guys think is important. And, what are your thoughts about everything that's going on in our community? That's why we're doing this. It's a great way to get things out, let people know what's happening. You know what I'd really like to do? Maybe we'll give them a call in a little bit. We'll call the mayor's office and ask them how the town hall went last night. Guys, I would have loved to have been there. But, we ended up, there's just, too many things. There's only so many people that I can be as one person. So last night I had the CPA board meeting, and I've got footage, by the way, of the first part of the meeting that we could post up here. And then the second part of it was the live one. And right after that, I had to zip over to the board meeting for my kids' school. And right after that, I zipped down to the ballpark to do the game last night between the Marlins and the Brewers. Great game. Yeah, and hanging out in the parking lot was even better. All right, what about the streetlights that are facing into someone's property and not illuminating the street? I imagine that's got to be the same thing, Mariano. But that's a great question. I think that's got to be the same thing. And it's funny, like some of the streetlights aren't even like legit streetlights. They're like what we would call those mercury vapor lights that we had in our backyard as kids to light up the backyard when we go like swimming or something. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they do the job, but they're not like the official street lights. It's like, we'll throw a light bulb up there. We'll get you something. Don't complain. Well, that's not how it's going to be in Garapan. I can't wait to see the lights that you guys are getting. I know they're going to be great, and I know you guys are getting a good deal on them. So that'll be awesome. All right, the 8 o'clock update is here from the Associated Press. We're going to get you guys that and get you guys a couple of commercials to recognize our sponsors. Got to tell you, last night's Atkins Kroll Toyota Player of the Game, Jerome De Los Santos, went 4 for 4 and 4 scores. He is a human 4x4. That's right. He is. We could call him Jerome Della Tundra now because he is the Atkins Kroll Player of the Game for last night. Great game. He's going to be down there at Atkins Kroll Toyota at their new dealership in Puerto Rico, picking up his prize pack because they are the official broadcast sponsors of the Saipan Baseball League's Masters League. And we're loving that all day. Again, we can't bring you any of this without IT&E. IT&E, they are wherever we go, whatever we do. We can't do it without Team Blue. Give them a call and see what they could do for you. IT&E, connections that matter.
Such a bright day, yeah. All right. Rain or shine.
Persistence of build, be the inspiration they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence of build, be the inspiration they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. There is a murder suspect still at large in New York City. The CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, was shot and killed on a sidewalk outside his Manhattan hotel.
I want to be clear. At this time, every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
Thompson was going to speak at an investor conference. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says this is all happening as people are gathering at Rockefeller Center.
Millions of people will be enjoying the tree lighting tonight, among other holiday events, and the NYPD will be out there with them, keeping them safe.
The suspect was last seen in Central Park. The Supreme Court seems likely to uphold Tennessee's ban on medical treatment for transgender minors. Here's the AP's Sagar Magani.
The issue is whether the law violates the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause, since the statute bans puberty blockers and hormone treatments for those minors, but allows them to be used for other purposes. Chief Justice John Roberts says the Constitution leaves the question of regulating medical procedures to lawmakers.
Rather than to 9 people, none of whom is a doctor.
And Justice Brett Kavanaugh joined other conservatives in saying while there are strong arguments on each side,
why isn't it best to leave it to the democratic process?
The court's liberals disagreed.
When you're 1% of the population or less, very hard to see how the democratic process is going to protect you.
Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
Blacks were a much larger part of the population, and it didn't protect them.
The Biden administration argues a ruling in favor of Tennessee could be used to justify nationwide restrictions on transgender care for minors. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Wall Street stocks finished higher, the Dow up 308 points. This is AP News. A longtime Democrat, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan says he will run for governor of Michigan as an independent.
Duggan says that's because there are a lot of people in this country who are tired of both the Democratic and Republican parties. In an AP interview earlier this year, he said he had hopes for future politics in the city.
I'm hoping the legacy will be us versus them politics in Detroit is over. That's what I'm hoping. And the neighborhoods are back. Population is growing. Violence is at a 60-year low.
The decision comes during a reckoning for Democrats in Michigan, one of a handful of swing states that helped propel then presidential candidate Donald Trump to victory in November. Current Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, a Democrat, is term limited under state law. I'm Haya Panjwani.
The FBI is investigating reports of large drones flying in New Jersey, and they want the public's help. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
All right, welcome back, Saipan. Welcome back, Tinian. Welcome back, Rhoda. Welcome back, Guam. It is 8:07 in the morning here in Saipan. It is Good Morning, Marianas. and you are looking down at traffic on Beach Road in Olei that is moving right along. It's not too shabby at all, but we will give you another look at traffic here while you are trying to get to where you're going, trying to be a productive citizen by going out there working like a dog. I'm part of that club, man, no doubt. All right, so here we go. This is what the intersection looks like over there by the old AK. Beach Road and the CMG looking a little slow as you're creeping up toward the intersection as you get closer and closer to the beach. That's because it's really difficult to get through with only one lane. Over there at Middle Road and the CMG, not too bad. In fact, it's all coming for folks who are heading south down Middle Road. It's going to be a little bit of a backup. It's not that far. Don't even feel bad about it. Really, it is not that bad. It's pretty good. Things are looking pretty good out there on the roads. How about one of our perennial trouble spots over there? Oh, well, there is that. Over there in Aslito by Shell Dandan, you can see the traffic backing up all the way to Maddie's Barbecue and a little bit more along the way. And it doesn't get a whole lot better as you go down further down the road. But a lot of that is also going to be folks from food stamps at the Nutritional Assistance Program. But as you get closer to the light, again, a little bit of a holdup. How are we looking over in Chalumpiao? Got another quick look over there, and God, not awesome. The best thing to do in that case, one, don't go that way. You can go head over to Great Harvest, get yourself a nice breakfast sandwich, get some coffee, and relax. That's probably the absolute best way to go. In fact, plan that into your morning. Go there first. Maybe work from the nice, clean, and amazing facilities that they have over there and enjoy. They will fill you with free samples on top of that, too. That's just what they do. But look, all the way down Beach Road, just looking miserable as you get past the post office. It starts to lighten up a little bit. And you know where it gets great? Right over there at Laddie Built 24-Hour Fitness. Look, it's all green over there. That's their color, too. So you could do that. Hey, folks, as we get ready to go on with the morning, just to have a reminder, I know you can see the picture that we got there around us, but that is an important thing right there. That's not just a regular ad. If you're a government employee, your open enrollment is now, and it only lasts for another week and a half. This is the time for you to make a real change and save some money and get great coverage by changing your dental coverage to the CNMI's most affordable dental coverage at Paradise Dental. If it's just you, it's $4 per paycheck. If you're a couple, that is $5 per paycheck. How about the whole fam, right? That's going to be a lot of money. No, it's $6 per paycheck. That's for dental coverage at Paradise Dental. They're in Gualarai. It's the nice orange building with the people who got the best smiles. They make you feel like your family when you go over there. It's great. You're asking, Brad, what else does that give me? I'm telling you, you can call them because that's the best. 234-4040, 234-4040. Don't wait until it's 2:30. Oh, gosh. I can't even say that one. It's just so bad. Don't wait until you absolutely need it. Make the switch now. Everybody's feeling this economic pinch. Why wouldn't you go to the place that's going to save you some money and give you great coverage on top of that? Go in there and check it out for yourself and find out if they are the ones for you. But you're going to find out pretty quick why everybody else is starting to make that move over there because they're great folks. I love them. I love working with them, and you are going to love working with them too. And there you go. So that's it. Paradise Dental. You've only got a week and a half left of open enrollment if you're in the government. Now's the time. I'm telling you, don't waste the time. I'm changing all my phone plans to shrink everything down too, guys. That economic pinch is no joke. Every place where we can kind of, be better on costs and everything, we are doing it. And I'm guessing you guys are too. That goes for the utilities, that goes for the gas, that goes for, you name it. We're looking at doing that for just about everything. And the dental part is part of that too. So you guys think about it. Go down there, find out for yourself, and find out if it's the right one for you. I think it is, because that deal is just too good. Oh, got a message coming in on the bat phone. They call back again? What do we got? All right, good. That was a message about folks from CPA about seeing if I got the first part of the meeting. Oh man, so that's the thing. Let me send this over to myself here real quick, and I could send it to you guys too. The main thing is, here, while I do that, That didn't work. There we go. All right. Somebody asking about the first part of the CPA meeting yesterday. And I do have it. The thing is, I only got about 11 and a half minutes worth of recording from the first part of the CPA meeting because that's when they went into executive session. And let me see if I can't just send it over. And we could watch that. Now, we don't have to watch it this moment. But here we go. Send that over. And it really wasn't even that much because a lot of it, I'm in there setting up. I told you about like having to run around and do everything yesterday, and I definitely know the importance and the value of being on time for everything. Yesterday, though, we tried to coordinate all the stuff, being a dad, being a parent, and picking up the kids from school and then getting them to their other activities. I mean, my kids probably don't care what I got going on in life when it comes to stuff like that. But hey, like my son had a soccer tryouts yesterday, soccer practice, like 2 hours worth of 2.5 hours worth of practice. I had to drop him off first and then head over to the CPA meeting. So I missed about the first 8 minutes of the CPA meeting. I was supposed to start at 4:00, and I can't do it. I couldn't make it there any earlier, and so I missed that first 8 minutes. But when they were doing that, that was a big part of the chairman's report, and that's Chairman Ray Tebeteb. So I just don't have all of that, unfortunately. I have a part of it, but I don't have all of it. And so I'd say mea culpa on that one, guys. I mean, you got to do it. Definitely not Dad of the Year, Tobot. I am 100% not Dad of the Year. If I am, boy, that bar is low. Low. But, hey, that's just saying that's why I couldn't get the beginning of that. It's not because I was not interested in it or I didn't care enough about it. It just could not be at two places at once, and that was it. So that's why, like, I'm serious when I tell you, like, this is like your thing too. Not you just Tobot, but I mean, like, for you guys who are watching this stuff, whether it's the coverage or whether it's the morning show, what you got, your input is massively important. That's one of the reasons why we do what we do. That's why we're doing baseball and Masters baseball, because you guys not only said that you want it, you've shown that you want it, and that we're doing it because we want to, we think it's important to our community to do this stuff, right? Are we making a lot of money off of it? No, we are not. But hey, it's awesome, right? This is the coolest thing. I wouldn't want to do anything else, and I don't, and that's it. Other cool things. I mean, we're doing okay. You know what I'm saying? But like, we're not predicating our service of doing the baseball based on whether or not we got money rolling in. We're doing that because it's a thing. It's one of our community things, and we think it's great. And we get great support. We got great support. You see what they're doing? Luisa Cabrera, she oh my God, she is quickly retraining into becoming an amazing producer. You have to see her now working with the computer, she's doing the graphics. When you see the graphics on the screen for baseball, in fact, let me pull one up here. When you see like the scoreboard, when you see the player names, when you see like, literally the scoreboard graphic and everything, the balls and strikes, what inning it's in, and switching the camera angles, that is Luisa. If you don't already know, now you know. Hold on, I'm just going to pull up last night's thing. And I'm going to do a little screen share here. And make sure I got the volume down. Let's go over here. Just in case you guys aren't watching the regular baseball games. Let's see, let me move it up. Just going to advance it to here, right? And I got to move this up a little bit. All right, so I've got it on the other screen. I'm going to, here, I'll go to share. So I'm kind of blocking some of it with the logo there. Let me take that off. All right. So like all those graphics, oh yeah, also need to lift this up a little bit for you guys. But I mean, all those graphics, that's all Luisa doing all that stuff. So putting the names in there, the league, the score, here, let me move that over a little bit more too so you can see it. I mean, that's all her doing all that work, switching the camera angles. You name it, that's her. It's awesome. She's great. So, way to kill it. And you know why she's doing it? Because she loves it. Really. She's doing it because she loves it too. And she wants to be awesome for the community. And man, we couldn't be any luckier. You guys, it's the NMI News Service. It is the NMI. It's all of us. Oh, man. Yeah, anyway, that's enough of that. I'll go off on that one. Anyway, let me get out of this screen so I can actually see everything else that we got going on over here. But it is good stuff. Hey, yesterday at the World Resort Saipan, we had our delegate-elect, Kimberly King-Hines, presenting remarks. There were other folks too, the different reports that came up. But we also had the first comments that we got from the delegate-elect after she got back from D.C. to talk about what's going on and what she wants to do. And then it was great. She delivered these remarks, and there were some things that were prepared, but it was not just a prepared thing. I'm telling you, she was a great delivery, real powerful stuff, a real leader. You listen to the way she speaks. It was great. And I'll tell you, the other thing is that there's such a difference between campaign speaking about like, hey, vote for me, and now like how she makes that perfect transition to, let's go. I need you. Let's go. Wow, what a great delivery yesterday. We posted it online on YouTube on our page, and because I couldn't stream inside there, the connection inside the Taga Hall is kind of tough. That place there's a lot of concrete going on over there, and as it should be. But I was not able to get a good connection, so I just recorded it, and then I had to upload it to YouTube. I tried to upload it to Facebook, but it's so long. I mean, that's the problem. Hold on. Let me get this link for you. I know I put it on the page itself, but I'm going to pop it in the comments just so you guys can go in and check it out on your own. But if you do make it over there and check it out on the YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. That helps us quite a bit too. We are creeping. We started with hardly anybody on YouTube. That is not our strong suit yet. But I would love for us to get way better on YouTube also. We've only got about 300 subscribers right now. The real mark to hit to get to that next level of, remember how we were talking about we had to get to 5,000 subscribers or 5,000 followers for Facebook? And we hit that, and that was awesome. But the number that we need to get to on YouTube to get to that next level is 1,000. Once we get to that 1,000, a lot changes for us, so it's great. Yeah, thank you, Vincent Raymond. I know you're still here. Thank you so much. And Ann, man, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen any cat gifts for a while, so I know that we've been lacking in that department since I haven't seen enough of you lately. All right. But anyway, I bring all that stuff up about Kim is because, again, her delivery was great. You know, the amount of information that she put out was really good, and the messaging that she had was really good. And then she took up like a Q&A session during that too. And I'm telling you, it was great stuff. Inspiring. I was ready to go fight. Let's go. Let's go. So I want to play that for you. It's a little lengthy though. So I might give it to you in just a few minutes. Let's see. Is there anything that I can get to before that? No. I mean, I don't have to get to any of these other things. They're not really banging. What's this one? All right, we will talk about this just real quick before, and then after that, we'll start playing that video for you so you can see it. This is just for folks who have power. If you like your power and you're living in some of these affected areas, you're not going to have it today or tomorrow or next week. They're going to be working on some things all along Beach Road, Saipan. And why? Because, you know, there's this massive project going on along Beach Road. And they're going to be doing it especially because they want to make sure that they can replace the wooden poles with the concrete poles. That just makes us more resilient. That makes us, it's so much longer for our typhoon recoveries when they got to replace broken power poles. Well, that's the good thing about these concrete poles. They should not have that same kind of problem that those wooden power poles have. And so they're going to be doing that now till starting at 8:30 to 12:30. It's going to happen along Beach Road. And this one's going to be in, real quick, is it called Gualarai? No, it's like the Garapan area. Beach Road from around where the Horiguchi building down to, it's very difficult to really make that out. Down to about the Saipan Tribune. A little bit further than that, actually. Not too much further, but that's where the power outage is going to be today until about 12:30. The good news is, though, they usually finish that pretty quick and quicker than what they put out there. They drill that hole with the auger. They auger it out and then drop in the concrete pole, and then they put all the accessories on pretty quick. So they give themselves a longer time, but they usually end up finishing way before that. Tomorrow, it's going to be happening again in Chelan Lao Lao and Gualarai, Asfalapi, Sugar King, and Chinatown. Yeah, there's a whole lot more going on. What they're going to end up doing is replace an air brake switch. That's important. The air brake switch is so that they can isolate different areas, and when they're when they're doing work on the power lines, they don't have to block out bigger areas. So when they replace an air brake switch, that means like the power won't go through. It's literally a break in the space between these two connectors, and it's just air. That's the break in the connection. So when they put those in different places, they can work on any of the power in that area. They can isolate that area so it doesn't have to affect more people. So they're going to replace that, and that's something that's pretty important to have. And they're going to be doing that tomorrow from 8:30 to 11, and that's going to be it's going to affect the Quartermaster light as well, Quartermaster and the Gualarai lights, and they're going to put that stuff in there, and they'll be done pretty quick. Next Tuesday from 8:30 to 2:30, so 8:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the afternoon. It's going to be what are they going to be doing? They're going to replace 2 of the wooden poles for concrete poles. Then they're going to replace, they're going to do 3 of them. 2 of them are 45 feet. One of them is 35 foot. And then they're going to reinstall all the transformers. And that's going to be a lot of work in Garapan, but they're going to do that as well. That's going to be in Garapan next Tuesday from 8:30 in the morning to 2:30 p.m. They're going to try to get that stuff done earlier. But again, that's 3 poles. I mean, 2 45-footers and a 35-footer. You got to bring those things around. It's a massive undertaking. And then these also include, they're not just regular poles with the accessories. They've also got the transformers as well. And that, again, that's not something you're lifting up with your hands while your buddy wrenches them in. You got to have different trucks and booms and all that stuff, making that stuff work. So they're doing a great job. And they're going to be getting that stuff done. So the good news is that they're letting us know ahead of time so you can plan accordingly. All right? So now let's get back to it. We're going to show you this bit from the, throw it to the big screen. This is from yesterday at the general membership meeting for the Saipan Chamber of Commerce. It's going to be like you were there without even having to buy the lunch. But again, I think it was important enough for you to hear it because it's a real call to action, and it details what our next delegate to Washington is going to be focusing on. And you don't get to hear this stuff all the time. And this is not a campaign speech. Like, this is, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm not in this. I'll deal with the politics. 100% going to work here. All right, so let's get this started. And I'll get that audio for you as soon as I press play on this. It's kind of tough to see the way I've got this big screen over here. All right, here we go.
With the chamber, and the beginning of dialogue that we will continue for months to come. Now, we're just returning back from Thanksgiving weekend. I wanted to start first by saying thank you to each of you individually and collectively for all that you do for our community. I know many of you in this room and within the chamber, and I know that one of the chamber's greatest strength is that the people who are sitting here in this community have taken on leadership roles within your organization. You've leveled up and stepped up to the plate to be able to be amongst your peers, to have these conversations about how to move our business community forward. You know, many of you, I know, also pursued a career in the private sector from the bottom and rose through the ranks through your competence, your contributions, and most importantly, to your commitment to this community. Some of you that I know out there started with just an idea and hustled to pull the pieces together to make that idea a reality. A reality that has provided jobs, opportunities for our people, and advance this community through the entrepreneurial spirit. Today, I stand here at the start of a new journey as your next delegate, and I'm speaking to a room full of neighbors who know exactly what it's like to take the first step. And you guys, as you all know, taking the first step, I think, is one of the hardest things to do, right? Because it takes courage to move forward. It doesn't just take courage to move forward. You're choosing a direction and you're making a decisive decision to move towards that direction. And I want to speak to you this afternoon about that direction. Throughout my life, I found my path following the needs of our community. And the need today is very clear. Our community is suffering. Most of the homes destroyed by typhoons have been rebuilt, but the families living inside those homes struggle to afford the roofs over their heads. Fallen wooden poles have been replaced with tarring concrete poles. But our people are sacrificing their mental well-being to avoid being disconnected from the power pool that they were built to provide. Businesses that are here have weathered these storms, are fighting to keep their doors open, facing fewer and fewer customers. And after years of relentless challenges, we've been beaten down to a point where we are now celebrating small victories, like a hotel inching closer to 40% occupancy, or an airline choosing not to discontinue service. The storms of the pandemics may have passed, but the disaster is still here. And I've been a part of this community my entire life, and I've seen our ability to recover time and time again. And each time, the driving force behind our strength has been the sense of hope. Hope that together we can find a way to the other side. But now, nearly 5 years since the onset of the pandemic, I understand why many of you wonder if the other side still exists. So our direction must be toward restoring that hope, not just for survival, but for a thriving future. Hope that living in the CNMI means opportunity, not sacrifice. Hope that surviving here is a factor of how much work you put in, and that hard work will equate to greater success. And more importantly, hope that your leaders will listen, your leaders will act, and your leaders will collaborate to address the challenges that we face. I know it's frustrating to be where we are today, and it is frustrating because we all have a very keen understanding of what is needed to be done. To keep people here, to keep our people here, we need more jobs and better incomes. For that to happen, businesses need to succeed. For businesses to thrive, we need both employees and customers. and our largest pool of customers come from tourism. So we must work together to attract more visitors by opening up all markets immediately. When these pieces come together, the cycle of growth begins. More hiring, more economic activity, new investments, and opportunities for the industries here to be able to grow. This is how we move forward, and this is how I, as your representative, will be operating in terms of leading the charge to move this community forward at the federal level. Now we ask ourselves, where is your government in this solution? The truth of the matter is that throughout this process of recovery, the hurdles preventing these steps from occurring have been put into place by the government or are influenced by federal policy. How you run your business, who you are allowed to hire to fill your specific needs, and the amount and origin of people who are allowed to be your customers are the decisions of the government. And I don't know about y'all, but for many reasons, this seems backward to me, and I'm thinking it seems backward to all of you as well. It's backward because commerce has been at the core of every society since the dawn of civilization. Our ability to bring our skills, talents, and aspirations to the world, to plant ourselves into this land and find prosperity, is foundational to our existence and at the heart of the American dream. Commerce is not just a means to generate government revenue. It is what allows us to live on these islands, to remain in our home, and to thrive as a community. Is it such a wild thought that we should expect our government to support the ability for our businesses to hire more employees, pay higher wages, and support the growth of our economy and higher living standards for our people? A part of our path toward rebuilding hope is rebuilding our expectations for where we wish our Commonwealth to go. And as your delegate, I will represent everyone in this room and beyond. And to do that effectively, I need you. I need every single one of you. I need your input, your challenges, your ideas, and your solutions. My campaign was built on the belief that the CNMI can and must level up. Part of that is expecting more from our government, and part of it is us working together to achieve a shared vision. And you can count on me to be your advocate on policies that promote economic growth, higher living standards, and regional security. I will fight to remove obstacles that hold us back, to ensure that we all have a fair shot to succeed in these islands. You can also count on the transparency in our work. And I want to underscore today the need for this office to be as transparent with all of you all about the conditions in Washington, D.C. But I also want to be very clear that there is a line between politics and policy. Our job as a Commonwealth is to work together towards a common goal. And the things that I've campaigned on, one, is restoring Annex 6. We're going to need every single person in this room to join in on that ask. I've reached out to the Senate, I've reached out to the House, and I've just come out of a meeting with the governor. This is the mandate. I campaigned on that and I intend to deliver. The other issue, as you businesses are very much aware, as well as our partners in public health or in other in critical industries is we need to stabilize our workforce. We need to all sit down collectively, to include the Department of Labor, to have a conversation about a policy that is particularized to the needs of the people of the Commonwealth. I am not going to assume that I am the expert in that conversation. I will need all of us to carve out time and to make it a priority. So, if you haven't already noticed, we have a Republican president, we have a Republican Senate, and we have a Republican House. But we all understand how election cycles work. And the way election cycles work, when you have a president who only has one term left, we're going to have some challenges, right, in the last 2 years of this term, because campaign season is going to begin again for the next presidency. So the way I look at this situation is we have 2 years. And I want to make it very clear. I'm not here to be delegate. I ran for delegate to do a job. And we have very limited time to get this job done while the stars have aligned. And I'm asking all of you to be our partner, for all of us to rally together, to all of us think Team CNMI, think CNMI first. Let me handle the politics. Let me get over those hurdles. But the policy needs to be driven by this community. And so we were gonna, I hope that this is the beginning of just many conversations of us collaborating and working to achieve these goals. In the coming weeks, I'm setting up appointments, not just with folks in the private sector, but folks in the government sector. There's announcements about some clawbacks with regards to federal funds. And because I see folks from NMC, I see CHCC, and I see labor, I need to be prepared. And by preparation, I need white paper. These ideas and thoughts, these obstacles, these gaps, these challenges need to be actually be put on paper so that when I leave here on December 23rd, I am walking into inauguration, my swearing in on January 3rd, ready to knock on doors and have conversations with the partners that we've already made and the people that don't know we're going to be best friends. Because that's just how we're going to do this. And so I want to thank you very much for this opportunity to have this conversation. And I'd like to open it up for you to ask questions because I believe that the only way that we can understand each other is if we engage in dialogue. And that's just how it's going to be. That's how I roll. And it's what we're going to do. So thank you again for this opportunity.
All right, do we have any questions for our Congresswoman? Just raise your hand, we'll bring a mic over. Come on, now's your chance to put her on the spot.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations, Kimberly, stuff like this. We all want to do best. So, but I bumped into a guy that worked for ICE just the other day, and I asked him, I said, let's have this discussion. We've got too many people out here in this community that are our workforce, but yet, they're not really legal because there's some kind of an out of status going on. And I asked him what the number was. And he said it could be as high as 8,000 people.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy. We have 8,000 workers out of status in our community. Why can't we do something about that? I mean, can we do something about that?
We can absolutely do something about that, right? And so, I was having a conversation the other day with a gentleman, who wanted to, when that issue was brought up, they wanted to get into a conversation that encapsulated the national politics, right? And I hope that when we have these conversations, we set aside national politics and focus on policy and arguments and data and position statements in shaping and crafting these asks, right? You know, if you were to take 1,000 people out of the economy, that will have a multiplier effect in terms of, you know, people spending in this community, people going to the stores, right? It's a cascading impact. And so the manner in which I want to have this conversation with folks in Washington, D.C. is not from an immigration perspective. I want to have a conversation in terms of economic stability. And the only way you can be economically stable is if your population is stable, all right? Just yesterday, my husband, who's the chief criminal prosecutor, came home and he showed me a chart that was mind-blowing. So our Department of Public Safety has an investigative unit that's broken down into, I think, 6 departments. If you look at the number of investigators that are assigned to, for example, investigate property crimes, you have 2 people investigating over 200 crimes, right? You have another division, 3 people investigating 400 crimes. And people in this community basically, you know, are crying out, where's DPS, where's the AG's office? But what we're seeing basically is just people in this community, because of the economy, are leaving in droves. I was down in Rhoda, 80 people by the end of this year, from November to December, 80 people are leaving. What do you think that's gonna do to the economy in Rhoda? So we need to tailor these conversations in the context of being focused on the economy and tying in some of this labor issue, this immigration issue, with stabilizing the economy. And I think when we have these conversations and start, you know, putting together these position statements, it has to be focused on that. Because I agree, Bob. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Congratulations, Congresswoman. You know, we're all very happy to have you as our advocate. My question is, is there any specific committees that you're looking to be a part of?
Yes.
To move things forward for the CNMI?
Yes. Yes. So the way it works is you have a steering committee chairs within the Republican caucus who now talks to the leadership and try to get you placed in these committees, right? And the 3 committees that I have submitted for is the judiciary, because the judiciary basically has oversight over some of these conversations with regards to labor, right? And we need to work on addressing that issue immediately. 2029 is right around the corner. So judiciary is one. The other one is transportation and infrastructure. Transportation has always been one of our biggest issues. It drives up costs of doing business here. It's a challenge for folks inter-island, whether it be access to basic health services or just commerce in general, right? So transportation. And then, you know, one of the things that I have been advocating for is, you know, modernizing the utilities, right? I'm going to be having a conversation with the Utilities Corporation to talk about how do we address that problem. Because we all know that when we work out an MOU between the government and CUC, that gets hidden into the rates, which is passed on to all of us. And, you know, passed on to the businesses, which drives up costs of commodities. There's this cascading impact. I'm not interested in blame games. What I'm interested in is basically, let's all sit down, look at what a viable option is. What is that number? What am I going to go and talk to? You know, what is the number that we're looking at in terms of infrastructure funding to be able to modernize the utility grid and just focus on those key priorities, right? I know that we have a lot of infrastructure needs to include the hospital, but we have to, as a community, collectively decide where we're going to make the most impact using this very limited amount of time and go for the gold. But, you know, in addition to that, we also have to have other lists, right? So that if we don't get this, we have a list. And I'm not going to come up with that myself. I think that this should be a collective community conversation, because I am one person that does not believe that just because you get elected that all of a sudden you're an expert on everything. I'm looking at a room full of subject matter experts whom I am going to rely on to have conversations, whether it be, the telecommunications, whether it be the utilities, whether it be CHCC, or just basic commercial, activities here. So this is what I mean about let's work together. And, I'm going to be very proactive. Let me just put it to you that way. Let me introduce you to Oliver Magnolia back in the room there. You're going to be seeing a lot of him. He's going to be just working in the district office. Oliver Magnolia is an attorney by trade, and I'm very fortunate to be able to get him on board, to be able to, just be the liaison in terms of some of these regulatory conversations. But also Matt De Leon Guerrero, whom you are all familiar with, who has been very critical in terms of just shaping a lot of these policies for the government over the course of this 10 years that I know of. He's also going to be on board, and so I'm excited about the team of professionals that we're putting together to be able to collaborate and work with all of us to be able to put pen to paper and to make sure that our asks are very clear. Because the one thing that I know is that in the conversations that we've been having just in this very short time, our asks have been all over the board, right? And Congress is not very clear what exactly our priorities are. And so we need to get this dialogue going in short order here. And I thank Kim, for first of all reaching out and organizing this so we can have and begin this conversation. Oh, and then the other one is judiciary, transportation and infrastructure, and the armed forces. But what I have agreed, Jim Moylan and I have decided that it is in our best interest to tag team. And so for the committees that I don't get on, he currently sits on the Armed Forces Committee, and we have a direct line of communications, right, to be able to work together. And so if he doesn't get on one committee, we intend to partner up to be able to advance some of these asks, because some of these asks are very similar, right? And it's better if we form a united voice.
Congresswoman, again, congratulations. Big question, some of the stuff that you mentioned, one specifically with regards to the travel and Annex 6, how do you plan to overcome having the CNMI sound like we have two specific voices that are speaking against each other when you go up to Washington to accomplish these things for us?
Okay, that's a very, very fair question, because it's never a good look to have your head of state and the delegate, not be aligned. And, I had this conversation with the governor, and, when the governor ran, he campaigned on rebuilding trust. He campaigned on certain things, to include issues with accountability as it relates to federal funds. And elections are actually mandates by the people, right? People vote a certain way because they feel a certain way. I ran on very specific priorities. In the last 3 months of my campaign, Brad, I said three things, and I've been out in the paper. One, revitalize the tourism industry, and the one way we do that is by opening up all markets. Two, build a sustainable workforce. Figure out how to fix this CW situation once and for all by passing a long-term legislation, right, that we all can rely on. And three, modernizing our utilities, because by modernizing our utilities, we bring down the cost of doing business, not just for the government, not for businesses, but for people who are looking desperately for relief. And guess what? I got elected based on those three priorities. And so he and I, right, are going to have to work together. But I'll tell you this, CPA desperately needs the money. CPA is in the hole over $1.3 million. They've increased rates. Jeju is asking for relief. Where are we going to get this money? Because certainly cutting is not going to do it. Some of the expenses as it relates to operation is a direct result of the increase in the insurance of CPA. It went up, it doubled. So a lot of this cost is just the cost of doing business. And if the idea basically to work hours for employees, people are leaving for greener pastures. That can be the solution, especially when you have an opportunity to bring in new revenue. And so CPA is on board. The Senate leadership is on board. I intend to get the House on board. The mayors, the Association of Mayors are on board. Why? Because this is not about politics. This is about the economy. Period. It's time for all of us to just put aside whatever feelings that we have about certain issues and focus on providing the relief that the people need. And frankly, these conversations that we've been having with regards to Annex 6 is the federal government telling us what to do instead of us advocating for the businesses who are here, who are desperately seeking relief. So I'm not here to parrot what the concerns are of the federal government. My job as your delegate is to go to Washington, D.C., and that's exactly what I told the governor. Governor, I understand your concerns. I understand your pressure. But that's my job. That's my job. Your job and my job is to put food on the table, to keep the lights on, to improve everybody's quality of life. And this is one way, and we're just going to have to work together. Inaugural tickets for those of you who are interested. Please do let me know. As your delegate, they give me a couple of tickets, and for anybody who's interested, it's on January 20th, and I offer that to all of you. It's free, but you just have to find a way. But the tickets are free. Hey guys, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and I'm deeply committed to all of you. I'm here to be your partner. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I am here to take your voice and amplify it in Washington, D.C. I am here to take your concerns and work on finding solutions to your challenges. That's my job. And I love all of you so much, and I'm really excited to get to work, but I need your help to be able to do the work that I need to do. All right? So thank you.
I'll tell you what, that was a great presentation. I thought the speech was great as well. Being able to hear take the questions and open it up like for the Q&A. And I can tell you afterwards what ended up happening. There's a flurry of folks who were trying to get in and get selfies. If she took less than 30 photos with people afterwards, I would be surprised because so many people were going up and then taking photos. And I know I took a lot of them for people because they handed me their phone. Brad, could you? Yes, I can. $5 each. That's right. We paid our rent this month by taking photos for people. No. But it was a really good conversation, and it was really nice and engaging. And of course, I was happy afterwards too because she's like, "I got to come on your show." I'm like, "Yes, you do." So she's going to come on before she leaves on the 23rd, and we're just going to pick the date and work it from there. I know her schedule's busier than ours, so we're going to go based on her schedule, whatever she's able to do, to tell us about what she's going to do. I mean, it would be great if we were able to get out there to the mainland to be there for the inauguration too, because what an event that would be. But it's probably not happening for us this year. We'll see if that's possible, but I don't think it's happening this year. Anyway, that's what we've got for you today for the most part, folks. We're going to hang out, and we'll get you the 9 o'clock update from the Associated Press. But pretty good show today. But I want to make sure you guys saw that in case you didn't make it to the link and check it out on the YouTube page. By the way, if you do, the YouTube, if you haven't subscribed to it, please do. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're way away from it, but that's where things get to another level for us. So please subscribe to us on the YouTube channel, NMI News 670. And if you haven't already followed us on Facebook, please do. That's NMI News Service. You might be watching on the Good Morning Marianas channel. You might be watching on Island Image Emotion. Please follow us on the NMI News Service channel. That's how we're able to do more. It shows our sponsors just how much we're doing, how many views that we're getting and all that other stuff, so they can really appreciate the value that they're getting when they decide to support this channel and this news service that we're doing. And do it if you think that we're doing a service for you, because that's what we're trying to do. Also got a really great opportunity for a conversation I'm really excited about, based on a conversation I've been able to have with one of our viewers and one of the folks that we met at CLI at the National Persons for Disability Day. But I'm just so blown away by this. We're going to start this conversation with one of the consumers over there that we've already been speaking with. And boy, I hope she's on board with this, because I'm really excited about it. I think it could be a real eye-opener for all of us out here in the CNMI. All right, guys. Well, that's what we got. We are going to get ready for the Associated Press update. I'm going to start with the sports, because we didn't give you guys the AP Sports update, and so I'll give that to you now. And then after that, we'll go right into the news update, because that'll be following immediately afterwards. But that's our news, sports, and weather for today. I'm glad you guys tuned in. Thanks so much for being here. Whether you're on any of those channels, whether you're watching us on YouTube or on any of the channels that we have on Facebook, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for your comments. For that caller from Spokane, you can call us back next time. Please do. I know you at least gave us a ring, so we'll take it. But yeah, this is kind of cool that we get to do this, huh? All right. Thanks for being here, folks. We will see you tomorrow morning as well. We got all kinds of fun stuff going on this weekend. And if you haven't already, remember, there is the fundraiser on Saturday night. I'll be doing stand-up comedy for a little bit over at Naked Fish. I'll be the opening act for the big fundraiser for CHCC volunteers and the CHCC Foundation. That's this Saturday at Naked Fish. You've got to get the tickets in advance, because they're $50. It comes with a couple of drinks, and they're going to have specials throughout the night as well. But the main thing is, it's not just me. I'm only there for like 3 to 5 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more, but not much. Then after that, you get the real pros. You got Santi, Big Boy over there from Power 99. You're going to have Chinaman, who's going to be there, and you're going to have Nettie C over at Naked Fish. It's going to be fun. And we're going to raise some money for some folks who do some great things over there at the hospital. So I hope my comedy does not suck. That's it. And you will probably hope that too. All right, guys. Well, I got it. The 9 o'clock drop is here from the Associated Press. So we will just roll in with that, and then it'll follow immediately by the sports update, and then we're going to get out of here and get on with our regular coverage and everything today. So remember, if you've got stuff going on in the community, if you've got any thoughts about things that we should cover, if you've got a news tip that's going on, if you want to ask somebody a question that's in charge of some agency or something, but you don't want to ask it yourself, send us your questions and we can try and get that kind of stuff for you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Here's the Associated Press update for 9 o'clock.
News, I'm Ben Thomas. A deadly shooting in Midtown Manhattan this morning. Ed Donahue has details.
Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says it was
a brazen, targeted attack.
The CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, was shot and killed.
The victim was in New York City to speak at an investor conference. It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes. And as the victim was walking to the conference hotel, the suspect approached from behind and fired several rounds.
Thompson died at a nearby hospital. Tisch says the suspect got away first on foot and later on an e-bike. He was last seen in Central Park. Thompson had worked at United Healthcare for 20 years, the last 3 as CEO. I'm Ed Donahue.
The Supreme Court heard arguments over Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for minors. Mark Sherman reports conservative judges seemed skeptical.
After about 2 hours of arguments in the courtroom, it sounded like at least 5 conservative justices were ready to uphold the Tennessee law against the challenge from the Biden administration as well as families of some transgender youth in Tennessee. The court's 3 liberal members seemed firmly on the side of the challengers, but several of the conservative justices expressed varying degrees of skepticism about those arguments. Chief Justice John Roberts was among those who questioned whether judges should be making this decision instead of elected lawmakers.
Trying to hold on to his nomination to be Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth met with more Republican senators and conducted a radio interview to deny allegations of sexual assault and excessive drinking. Sources tell AP the Trump transition team's concerned and actively looking at potential replacements. Overseas, a Palestinian health official says at least 21 people killed in Israeli strikes on a camp for displaced people in Gaza. The Israeli military says it struck Hamas militants. And in France, lawmakers voted to oust Prime Minister Michel Barnier's government. This is AP News. President-elect Trump's nominating cryptocurrency advocate Paul Atkins to chair the Securities and Exchange Commission. Trump calls the Potomac Partners CEO a proven leader for common sense regulations. And Seth Sutel has the AP Markets report.
Stocks rose to more records after tech companies talked up how much they're benefiting from the boom in artificial intelligence. The S&P 500 climbed 0.6%. The index closed at an all-time high for the 56th time this year. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 308 points. It's about 0.7%. The Nasdaq Composite added 1.3% to its record. Salesforce jumped 11%. The business software company highlighted its artificial intelligence offering and reported revenue that beat forecasts. Marvell Technologies soared 23%. The semiconductor company said it's seeing strong demand from AI and gave a better-than-expected forecast for the upcoming quarter. Treasury yields fell in the bond market. Seth Sutel, New York.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
AP Sports, I'm Chuck Freeman. Miami's playoff hopes took a nosedive in college football while Alabama's got a huge boost in the last rankings. That final college football playoff bracket is set for next weekend. The Hurricanes moved down 6 spots to 12 after suffering their second loss of the season. They're 1 spot behind Alabama. The Crimson Tide, who won last week, moved up 2 spots to 11. Michigan coach Sharon Moore has fired offensive coordinator Kirk Campbell. Moore made the move 3 days after the Wolverines closed the regular season. The defending national champs struggle on offense this year. An NFL linebacker has received a multi-game ban after a controversial hit last weekend.
Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shire was suspended by the NFL without pay for 3 games for repeated violations of player safety rules following his hit to the head of Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence, which led to a concussion. In his letter to Al-Shire, NFL Vice President of Football Operations John Runyon noted that he has had multiple offenses for personal fouls and sportsmanship-related rules violations in recent seasons. Runyon says, quote, video shows you striking the head-neck area of Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence after he clearly goes down in a feet-first slide. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
In the NBA, Denver held on to beat Golden State 119-115. Sacramento whipped by Houston 127-105. The New York Knicks have advanced in the NBA Cup.
The Knicks and Magic both had a satisfying night, even though New York blew out Orlando 121-106. The victory gave the Knicks first place in East Group A of the NBA Cup with a 4-0 mark. The Magic, who were 3-0 entering the game, needed to lose by no more than 37 to advance as a wild card, but trailed by 34 with less than 10 minutes to play. However, Orlando rallied down the stretch to ensure it too would be in the quarterfinals. Tom Thibodeau's Knicks shot over 50% and had 30 assists on their 43 field goals.
I loved how unselfish we were, and I thought they made great reads when we got into the paint, just making the extra pass and then creating the right space.
5 Knicks scored at least 18 points, topped by Karl Anthony Towns, 23. The Magic's Franz Wagner topped all scorers with 30. I'm Tom Merriam.
Philadelphia has won back-to-back games for a first time this year. The Sixers beat Charlotte 110-104. The Cleveland Cavaliers, a blowout win over the Wizards.
Donovan Mitchell's 19 points helped the Cavs improve to 19-3 with a 118-87 win over the Wizards. Mitchell shot 4 of 8 from behind the three-point line while adding 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals.
I think the biggest thing is to start to shoot around, especially coming off a game like Boston. It's high energy, comeback win, good win. You're feeling good, and it's a trap game in a sense, But, for us to continually have to be the team we want to be, we have to have a certain mindset for 48 minutes.
Evan Mobley added 19 points and 10 rebounds for Cleveland, while George Niang and Sam Merrill added 14 points off the bench. I'm Adam Spillane.
The Milwaukee Bucks are headed to the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 28 points. The Bucks stay red hot, and they defeat Detroit 128-107. The LA Clippers destroyed Portland 127-105. Scotty Barnes, a career-high 35 points, and Toronto defeats Indiana 122-111. Oklahoma City 133-106 over Utah. Luka Doncic had 37 points and 12 rebounds. Dallas wins over Memphis 121-116, and Phoenix down San Antonio 104-93. Top 25 college basketball, 3 upsets. Number 11, Wisconsin fell to Michigan. The Wolverines beat them 67-64. 14th ranked Cincinnati got beat by Villanova 68-60. And number 4, Kentucky. Clemson got them 70-66. In the NHL, the Seattle Kraken with 2 unanswered goals in the third period to get the win.
Yanni Gourde and Brandon Tanev scored back-to-back goals in the third period to give the visiting Seattle Kraken a 4-2 win over the Carolina Hurricanes. Gourde said this was a gut-check game for Seattle.
We had to look ourselves in the mirror a little bit, and that's what we did. And tonight we saw that the level of play we can get to and the consistency of our game.
Seattle opened the scoring 19 seconds into the game off a goal by Jaden Schwartz, but Eric Robinson tied the game for Carolina at 4:56 of the first frame. Tied 2-2 in the third period, it appeared the Hurricanes took the lead after a goal by Jack Drury, but Seattle would challenge the play for goalie interference, which wiped out the goal. Moments after the overturned call, Gourde would score what proved to be the game winner with under 10 minutes to play. Dennis Cox, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Vegas defeated Edmonton 1-0. Nick Suzuki, the overtime goal in Montreal's 2-1 win over the New York Islanders. The Colorado Avalanche overcame a 4-goal deficit and beat Buffalo 5-4. William Eklund scored 39 seconds into the OT, and San Jose beat Washington 2-1. The Minnesota Wild skate by Vancouver for their 5th straight win.
Chuck Kirill Kaprizov scores with 24 seconds left in overtime to help the Wild edge the Canucks 3-2. Kaprizov's 16th of the season gave Minnesota its 5th straight win and bumped the Wild to an NHL best 40 points. Kaprizov has now scored 4 game-winning goals this season and assisted on 6 others. Those 10 game-winning points are the most of any player in the league. Frederick Gaudreau and Jake Middleton scored the other 2 markers for Minnesota. Head coach John Hines.
That's kind of the core of our team that we're talking about, finding a way to win these games, and the mental toughness, the physical toughness, the pushback, the focus level. And I thought that we answered the bell tonight.
Quinn Hughes opened the scoring for Vancouver, giving the Canucks their first power play goal by a defenseman this season.
Denny Cap reporting. Pittsburgh defeated Florida 5-4 in OT. Also in OT, Boston 3-2 over Detroit. St. Louis downed Winnipeg 4-1, and Calgary blanked Columbus 3-0. Chuck Freeman, AP Sports.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawami and greetings to Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news from a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun on Good Morning Mariana.